Producing profit is the bottom line for many companies, but is there something even more important to promote?
Truth.
Businesses shouldn't market lies or distort God-given natural law about biological sex, says Michael Pacolic, a professor of ethics and social philosophy in the business school at the Catholic University of America. Still, don't be surprised when a multi-billion-dollar beer company doesn't promote faith and family values.
The reasonable thought is, why should we ever think Budweiser would be in harmony with our deep beliefs?
Sales of Bud Light plunged to an unprecedented level after social media star Dylan Mulvaney, a man who presents as a woman, was part of an online advertising episode.
Possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it.
The transgender activism shown off by Bud Light, a product of Anheuser-Busch, brought outrage from some conservatives on social media and led to a boycott of the beer. But looking at its market capitalization, Professor Pacolic believes Bud Light's financial future will remain secure.
It's completely rebounded, so it hasn't been hurt in its share price.
Beyond the money, the bigger question and bottom line may be, how are the ideas pushed by major companies impacting the wider culture?
If we're trying to live by the truth as a society, well then, whether you're kind of thinking, Dylan Mulvaney is a good endorser of your product or not bears upon that question.
And the decisions of a company can affect the workers within. A Catholic employee with Anheuser-Busch who wished to remain anonymous for fear of losing their job shared with EWTN News In Depth after the Dylan Mulvaney endorsement, they questioned, quote, "Can I continue to work for this company or not?" They thought it was just the latest example of an LGBTQ agenda on display that conflicted with their own Catholic beliefs, after the previous sale of gay pride beer cans and a drag queen trivia hour hosted inside an Anheuser-Busch office. Still, this employee sees an opportunity and said, quote, "Catholics need to stay at their post and try to change the institution from within. We're supposed to be in the world, but not of it. And so we have to be in these companies, but not ascribe to everything of the company."
A person's religious identity defines how they look at the world.
Brian Grimm believes religious representation is good for business. He's president of the Religious Freedom and Business Foundation and says while some companies are calling for the acceptance of sexual identities in the name of workplace inclusion, it's important not to exclude others, including people who identify with faith.
If you're going to include people's personal identities or their social identities or physical identities and the worldviews associated with them, then it's very important that you include also religious identities and the worldviews associated with those.
And when it comes to worldview, regardless of faith or practice of religion, traditional family values can play a big part. Next month, Disneyland will host Pride Night. A longtime worker with Disney, wanting to remain anonymous for fear of losing their job, shared with us they do not support the event, believing it further erodes a family culture Disney used to have. Telling us, quote, "It's my responsibility to try to keep that old culture alive when I can." Disney and Budweiser both call for inclusion in their workspace. But according to Brian Grimm, neither company has faith-based employee resource groups. At least there's no public record of them. Meanwhile, an organization like the Ford Motor Company has a unique offering, the Ford Interfaith Network.
Encouraging us to bring our full selves to work.
My Savior God to thee.
And this week, on the National Day of Prayer, Ford hosted a prayer event open to the public. It may not take social media by storm. Controversial beer cans have recently been getting most of the attention. But don't forget, in the middle of a big business marketing ploy, the loss of some money and social media outrage is a person.
What if Dylan Mulvaney were your son? I mean, you wouldn't want him to be turned into some kind of object of debate.
And what role can Catholics play when someone is confused about their identity? Dylan Mulvaney once said in an online video, "I grew up super Catholic, and I was turned away from the church when I was coming out as gay as a teen." Adding recently, "I still have my faith, which I am really trying to hold on to right now." Mark Irons, EWTN News In Depth.